How's about I mix you up a tantalizing cocktail of coffee talk meets Dungeons and Dragons, infuse it with some modern humor and adorable artwork, and garnish it with a cozy little cherry on top. If this all sounds like something you would like to drink in for yourself, then it's time we discuss Tavern Talk. But before we ingest this one, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss your next favorite indie game review, and perhaps even check out our Patreon for awesome perks and additional content, and follow along at Twitch for weekly indie streams with Gamer Ghoulfriend every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Your community is waiting for you. Tavern Talk allows you to live out your innkeeper fantasies as you man the bar at the Wayfarer's Inn in the mythical land of Asteria. Countless adventurers will pull up a stool at your fine and fantastical establishment and order a drink to aid them in their travels, or perhaps to just loosen up a little bit. As innkeeper, your job is to listen to their stories and their worries and gather valuable rumors, craft quests, and of course, mix the drinks. A fair majority of your time with Tavern Talk will be spent conversing with the tavern patrons, so do be sure to make a cup of tea or something more daring, I won't judge, and settle in for a good bit of reading. These conversations are scattered with dialogue choices for you to make and information that you will retain related to both the character of that patron and the rumors that can be pieced together to create quests for the quest board. These adventurers will remember your kindness and the superior quality of your drinks and bring you back new ingredients and trinkets to adorn the Wayfarer's Inn. When you're not participating in these conversations, you're behind the bar, mixing a delightful cocktail of stat boosts and special abilities. The execution of these drinks is super simple, though the recipes become slightly more involved over time. You have a reference book that serves as your blueprint for each drink and a cheat sheet for the benefits of each infusion. The chosen recipe can then be transferred to the blackboard on the wall for quick reference, or you can go from memory if your brain functions better than mine. Your ingredients are stored on the side of the screen with infusions dangling just above them, and you just want to recreate the blueprint of the recipe in your mixing glass. Did you get a little heavy-handed on the defense and run out of room for charisma? No problem, you can just and do. No, I didn't misspeak. You literally pour your mistake into the gaping mouth of a little dragon-esque lizard creature named Andu, and you can begin again. Once your drink is crafted to perfection with the desired stats and infusions for added benefits, you can serve them to your eager patrons. Tavern Talk is broken up into acts, which are further broken into days at the inn, which always conclude with the same routine of feeding Andu, sweeping the floor, and blowing out the candles before the sun rises again on a new morning. There was something so endearing and familiar about the routine of this transition that I actually began looking forward to it eagerly. It's a great way to break up your gameplay sessions and serves as a much needed reminder to stretch, refill your beverage, and perhaps save your progress. I've never been the biggest fan of games that tend to fall under the cozy blanket, pun fully intended, but I have to say that Tavern Talk won me over almost immediately after experiencing the demo. Entering the Wayfarer's Inn for the first time and meeting the regulars like Fable and Kyle, you can't help but feel warm and welcome. While I find that a lot of sim games can feel like a chore, I never really got tired of mixing drinks for the patrons and learning about their misadventures, especially as the game's greater story unfolds. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but play through a few days and things start to get really interesting. You're often given a choice of what drink you feel will benefit the adventurer most on their quest, and they'll be sure to come back and tell you how they fared with the libations you prepared. Tavern Talk also makes a conscious effort to be inclusive in its cast, writing, and options, which is always lovely to see, and I adored the humor-infused used in each interaction. References to other pieces of media served as a kind of allusion to abstractly tie this universe to our own, and these references were super fun to pick up on. As you can clearly see, the art in Tavern Talk is quite endearing as well. The setting of the Wayfarer's Inn feels dynamic and familiar. You'll see the sun rise and fall through the window, watch as the decorations are added to the shelves and walls, and admire how the lighting within the pub shifts from daylight to candlelight. Each patron has a distinct look and personality, complete with backstory, insecurities, and motivations. While the movements and animations of characters and backgrounds are rather limited, the writing more than makes up for it, allowing the player to get to know each character in pretty great detail. Menus are neat and easy to navigate, recipes are simple to follow, and I appreciate how each drink had a different appearance. Honestly, it's the little things that make all the difference sometimes. The soundtrack changes from scene to scene depending on the tone of conversation, as do the little sound effects that serve to add some punch to some of the lines. Once you enter gameplay, there's no voice acting, but for some reason, the thunder that rolls each time a character uses a profanity had me dying, as did the references to appeasing the rating system. I personally didn't miss voice acting here, though I could certainly see some folks preferring to have lines read to them. It's a matter of preference, but as I always say, I'd rather have no voice acting than bad voice acting, and I stand by that. All in all, Tavern Talk is a game that I didn't think I would like, but I ended up loving. This is not going to be a game for those that prefer the action in their games to come from gameplay alone, unless you are particularly excited about the idea of mixing drinks. Instead, this is the perfect title for those that love a good fantasy story, a great deal of humor, and will certainly appeal to tabletop RPG fans. While it's not a completely novel concept in 2024, it's certainly a well-executed one, and for that, I am awarding Tavern Talk the Silver Genie Lamp of Approval. It certainly won me over, and I think you'll find yourself a regular at the Wayfarer's Inn if you pick it up for yourself. Let me know in the comments below, what's your drink of choice when you're playing video games? Cheers to that, and please be sure to pet and do for me if you pick up a copy for yourself.